Mariners win 9-3. They improve to 7-10 on the season, and they take the first of a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. Go over the scoring plays as we always do. Jorge Polanco homers to right center to score J.P. Crawford and Julio Rodriguez in the first inning with nobody out. 3-0 Mariners. Reds get one back in the second with a Heimer Candelaria homer to center, but the Mariners get two more in the third. Mitch Haniger homers to left center to score Polanco 5-1. Jake Fraley doubles to third base to score Christian Encarnacion 5-2. Congratulations to Jonathan Clase. His first MLB game, his first MLB hit, his first MLB RBI, a single to left to score Ty France. That makes it 6-2. Fraley homers to right center in the seventh to make it 6-3, but it's all Mariners from that point on. Seventh inning, the Mariners get three more. Haniger doubles to left to score Julio. Ty France hits a sacrifice fly to score Polanco, and Luke Raley shows off his speed with a triple to left to score Mitch Haniger. 9-3 Mariners in what was, I mean, to call it the most enjoyable game of the year is the understatement of understatements. Is that darning with faint praise? Maybe a little bit. But it was super exciting to watch this team play well from start to finish. Now, I've enjoyed all of the wins. Don't get me wrong. I loved Julio's first walk-off. I loved a lot of things that the Mariners have done. I loved George Kirby just dominating. There have been good moments. There have been a lot of terrible moments, too. And even in the wins, there have been moments that have just made me shake my head quite a bit. There was no head shaking in this one. There was no head shaking in this one. It's really hard to even say a negative. I guess if we're going to have any negatives to talk about today, J.P. Crawford's got to get going. 3 strikeouts today, 0 for 4. Now, does draw the walk and should have drawn another one. Should have had 2. But he just look, J.P. Crawford, a big part of his game, not even probably, the biggest part of his game is patience at the plate, drawing walks. So I understand that there are going to be at-bats where he's a little passive. But he doesn't look like a hitter who looks extremely confident in anything right now, which is weird to see for a player that I think kind of exudes confidence. He just does not look good at all. And it's concerning because, it's easier to get concerned about it's easier to get concerned about Crawford more than a guy like Julio, more than a guy like Big Dumper, because those guys have sustained success for 2 years now. J.P. Crawford has 1 year of success. And outside of that has been a average to below average hitter at best. It's a little concerning. A lot of time to fix things, and he does draw the walk against an absolutely atrocious. If there was a real negative here, it's that Frankie Montas was awful to watch. He'd actually been pretty good coming into the day. Oh my gosh, did he get worked? And he did a lot of the damage himself. Mariners took advantage of it, and it was great to see. But that's probably the biggest negative is it's not fun for me to watch. Well, it was okay. I take that back immediately. I enjoyed watching Frankie Montas struggle quite a bit. And the only other negative, Gabe Spire left a pitch right down the middle of the plate. Ends up not hurting him. He does fine for the rest of the inning, but, if you're a reliever, you give up a run, you got to kind of be mentioned in the negative section. Spire's been so good this year that I don't want to rail on it for too long, but yeah. End of negatives. Let's get to the positives. But first, Simply Seattle is the biggest positive for me because they provide the absolute best in Seattle sports gear. Awesome stuff for the Huskies, the Cougars, the Storm, the Mariners, the Sounders, Seahawks. You can find it all at Simply Seattle. Use code MOLLYWOP15 once you find all of the good stuff, and that'll save you 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. It's an awesome deal from awesome people. Link in the description. But again, simplyseattle.com, and MOLLYWOP15 is that code. All right, so George Kirby, solid. Not his absolute elite best, but solid. I actually think he battled quite a bit tonight. There were some 3-ball counts for George Kirby, and he once again goes without a walk. So funny that he walked 2 of the first 3 hitters that he faced this year. It hasn't walked anybody since and probably won't walk anyone for a while. It's just the way it seems to go. He is his control is as good as it gets. The stuff wasn't great, but he did a nice job battling. He did a nice job limiting, for the most part, hard contact. There was some, but a solid bounce back because the last 2 starts from George Kirby were awful, particularly for the level of expectations that we have for George Kirby, right? Like, yes, the start against Cleveland, some awful luck with the defense. The start against Toronto, it wasn't defense. He was bad. He was really good tonight. Leaves a ball up too high to Heimer Candelario. The double that Jake Fraley gets to score the run is absolutely horrific luck. Now, he does give up a hard single to Christian Encarnacion Strand before that. So, a little bit of self-inflicted damage without issuing walks, obviously. But he was solid. Certainly will take what I've seen from Kirby and Castillo in their last 2 starts, vast improvements. And obviously, the Seattle Mariners need it. Nice job by Tyson Miller. Great job by Taylor Sassetto. Taylor Sassetto has been fantastic this year. I think Taylor Sassetto is going to be a big part of this bullpen. I mean, obviously he is. He was a big part last year too. But Taylor Sassetto, that's as good as I've seen him look. Really impressed with what I saw from him. Tyson Miller has done the job for the most part. 3 innings of 1-run baseball from your bullpen. He will absolutely take it. Didn't need it tonight because you just absolutely blowout might be too strong of a word, but pretty darn close to it. But we got to talk about this offense because it was fantastic. Mitch Haniger played as good a baseball game as I've seen from a Mariner this year, at least in terms of offensively. All of those at-bats were awesome. He gets the double, he gets the walk, he gets the homer, of course. I mean, there have been ups and downs with Haniger in this early portion of the year, but I don't think you can call what we've seen from Haniger so far anything but a rousing success. And it's been big. They've needed it. If he wasn't the offensive star of the game, it was Jorge Polanco. They get the couple of walks, and then Polanco just absolutely shellacks that 3-1 pitch. He gets on 3 times. He's been kind of a walk machine as of late, which is awesome to see. The 203 average, not good. The 338 on base percentage, you take that, especially compared to a 203 average. 356 slugging percentage, not so much, but you can see he's starting to drive the baseball. I'm very encouraged by what I've seen from Jorge Polanco as of late. Luke Raley showing off that speed. Loved it. Loved it because he not only hits that triple, he has that push bunt for that hit. Now, I have to be honest with you. I didn't love that decision, in part because I wanted them to keep making Montas work. And, a bunt single with Clase up next, I mean, it doesn't hurt. And with the way that Luke Raley has struggled for most of the year, I don't blame him for going for that free hit. But I didn't love that decision at first. It's fine. If he wants to show off that speed and maybe limit how much they shift him, great. But he showed that speed. He showed that athleticism. It would be really nice if Luke Raley could get going. Would be really, really nice if he could get going. Julio, solid game. They were pounding him inside. Be mature. They really good at bat in the first inning, especially. He gets jammed for his hit, but then he gets that stolen base. I want to see Julio start driving the baseball, no question about it. But I'll take getting on twice. while he's going through this stuff, he can get on twice, continue to play excellent defense in center field. Solid game. Congratulations to Class A. I was going to do a video about the call-up, but then realized there's only so much I can say. He should have 2 hits. What a play that was from Ellie De La Cruz. For those who missed it, he makes a diving catch where he actually makes the dive before he makes the catch, like considerably. Kind of reaches back a little bit. He's a spectacular baseball player. It's fun to see LA De La Cruz play against the Mariners, to be honest with you. Hopefully he doesn't do too much damage. But anyway, put the ball in play for the most part. Look good in left field. You see the difference that they have, by the way, with this outfield. It may not be their best offensive outfield, but it's certainly their best defensive outfield. Rayleigh, Clase, and Julio is a vast improvement over Haniger, Canzone, and Julio. Julio's fine. But you know what I'm saying. I'll be curious to see how much more they line that up. Kind of hard, though, because, Garver, you want him getting those at-bats, even though he struggled. Just a really strong offensive game. Ty France has a couple of really bad at-bats, but does drive in the run, does pick up the double as well. Cal Raleigh gets on a couple of times. I think everybody got on twice except for Rojas and Crawford. Oh, and Clase. But a lot of guys getting on twice on France. So ignore what I just said, but a lot of really good at-bats. He draws 6 walks. Were the Reds pitchers awful? Yeah, other than Nick Martinez, who was fine. But they took advantage of it. Now, can they do it 2 days in a row? Can you play 2 complete games in a row? Because so far, they've only played really 1 complete game, if I'm being just completely honest. Friday against the Cubs was pretty close. But can they do it again? Can they have sustained success? Because they need it, obviously. Can they put this together and go on a nice little run? Here's hoping. Here is hoping. Today, because I'm recording this video at 9 o'clock in the morning. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but Mondays are just going to be a really tough day for me because I work until 9 and I am super exhausted after 8 hours of typing words nonstop. And sometimes I'll have late night games to cover too. So they'll be in the morning most of the time. I'll do my best to try and get them earlier, but just a little tough. But anyway, today, Tuesday, it is Logan Gilbert against Hunter Green. Hunter Green can miss some bats. I'll be very curious to see how the Mariners do. Hopefully they have the same approach that they did against Montas. And of course, hopefully Hunter Green is as bad as Montas was. Woof. That was ugly. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Really appreciate the support. We're getting so close to 1,400, but I want to get to 1,500. I want to get to 1,500 by the end of April. I feel like we can do it. Please let people know all that good stuff. Good win. Great win. First great win of 2024. Here's hoping we see a whole of a lot. Whole of a lot? A heck of a lot more of them. And hopefully I learn to talk by the end of 2024.